Let's have a look at the lower leg, or sometimes as it's just called, the leg. And we're really talking about the leg from your knee to your ankle. And it's just called the leg because your upper leg is also called the thigh. So the bones we're talking about are your patella or your kneecap and your tibia and your fibula. Now your kneecap is a sesamoid bone and it's really there like a lever, like a fulcrum on a lever. You have a little one also in your thumb and a little one in your big toe. So it's there to help you have a little bit more leverage. And then moving down, we'll talk about the tibia and the fibula. So the tibia is larger, supports more weight. Fibula is a smaller, sometimes also called the ankle bone. For the sake of drawing, you'll notice that your ankle is lower on the outside and higher on the inside. That's the little diagonal line I put through the ankle at the outside of these bones. Moving on to a couple of muscles on the leg, we'll start with the tibialis. And this book is a human anatomy for artists by Elliot Goldfinger. It's a very good book. So your tibialis originates on the front of your tibia, and that little arrow for the eye, you can see the little dots, it inserts on your tarsal and your first metatarsal down there on the bottom of your foot. Let's look at your gastrocnemius, which goes, here's a side view moving up to a top view. It goes from your femur at the outside, those epicondyles of your femur, and inserts at the back of your heel on your calcaneus. And you can see the muscle is mostly tenon. It has also underneath it your soleus, which goes a little bit from your tibia and fibula down to also your calcaneus. So a lot of tenon at your Achilles tendon. And that's the tendon, of course, that's called the Achilles tendon after the warrior Achilles, whose mother dipped him into the thorny waters and held him by that part. So he was impenetrable everywhere but his Achilles tendon, which was eventually killed him and got hit by an arrow there. So we'll take a look at drawing these muscles in. Drawing these in for you, your tibialis from the front is the main muscle that helps you raise your foot up, and it goes again from tibia to your tarsals and your first metatarsal, which goes to your big toe. It's also called tibialis anterior because it's on the front. And we do have a little bit of the gastroc showing and a tiny bit of the soleus, so I added them in. Here they are from the front, and now we'll flip around and look at the back. From the back, your gastrocnemius is the biggest muscle you see. It goes from your lateral and medial epicondyle, which just means inner and outer bump on your femur, down to your calcaneus, which is your heel bone. So it's muscle at the top half and then tendon at the bottom half. So your gastrocnemius runs over your soleus a little bit. So I'm putting the soleus in there, but not spending as much time on it. So top half muscle, bottom half really from the back, that Achilles tendon is the most prominent feature for drawing the lower leg from the back. Coming back up to the knee for just a second, a couple of things about it. Your kneecap has a little beard of fat underneath it. So you'll notice that you can see the patella here, your kneecap, and underneath it that little bit if you feel on your own. If you also feel on your own, one of the things you notice about your knee is it's basically married to your tibia. So if you move your lower leg forward and backwards, your kneecap moves along with your lower leg rather than staying stationary with your upper leg. If we look at the angles they come to, again, your calf is higher from the front on the outside and lower on the inside where those muscles come to a peak. And at the bottom, at your ankle, it's higher on the inside. So that's really useful stuff to remember when you're drawing, which part you keep higher and which part you keep lower, because you don't want to make any part of the body symmetrical like parentheses. Let's look at proportion for a second because I want to point out something really important. And this is from Dr. Paul Richet's Canon of Proportion from his book on artistic anatomy, which is a very good book. So if we look at the lower leg from the bottom of the foot to the bottom of the knee, it's two heads, which we tend to think of the lower leg as shorter than that, but it's actually longer than the upper leg. If you squat down like a duck and you're resting just on the ball of your foot, your heel will come out past your butt. So you're longer from heel to knee than you are from knee to hip, which is an important thing for drawing. So looking at some drawings, the one on the left is Michelangelo, the two on the right are Da Vinci drawings, and you'll see calf curve higher and slower on the outside and lower and steeper on the inside, and from the back, mostly muscle at the top down to the Achilles tendon. You can see where the Achilles tendon tapers there, so that's the Achilles tendon is the dominant form from the back going to the calcaneus. So here's a big Michelangelo red chalk drawing with a lot of bodies in it, a lot of legs, and we see those same things we notice in this drawing. And in addition to what we were talking about the muscle tapering down to the Achilles tendon, we also see the proportional thing we're talking here. Of course, Michelangelo knew his proportion thoroughly, and he knows that lower leg from heel to knee is a little bit longer. So this drawing is a great, hugely ambitious red chalk drawing and kind of a good place to wrap it up. So I hope this was useful and help you understand and draw the leg.